Hello and welcome to California Lutheran University. My name is Dane Rowley, I'm Director of International Mission here at Cal Lutheran. What we're here today is talk to you about this university, but really more to introduce you to what studying in the United States is like. And so to do that, I'm joined by a great friend, a great colleague, and alumni of Cal Lutheran, Oda, who's going to share her experiences with you.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm going to talk about a little bit why I chose to come to the US in the first place. So it was me traveling with a friend, and we wanted to take our master's degree in another country except from Norway. So the reason why we chose to come to the US is basically because we've heard a lot about the US, and it seems like it's such a different country than Norway. So when we came to the conclusion that we wanted to go, the West Coast was a really good idea for us because we wanted to combine the travel experience and also our master's degree. So the good thing about studying on the West Coast is that you can just, whatever weekend you're free and you don't have as much exams and homeworks, you can rent a car and you can basically go anywhere on the West Coast, and the nature there is great and the cities there are different, and so many different experiences you get from traveling, for example, from going south to San Diego to going north to San Francisco. It's a really good experience. It's a good place to be if you want to see the world and also want to combine that with your education. So after deciding to go to the West Coast, we kind of like, do you want to go to San Francisco? Do we want to go to San Diego? Or do we want to go to LA? And we did a lot of research, and we came to the conclusion that we wanted to go kind of like somewhere in between. So we found California Lutheran University also through some friends that were Norwegian and had gone there in the past, and they had a lot of good things to say about the university. And so we decided to go there. And it's based in Thousand Oaks. It's kind of 30 minutes away from Los Angeles, which is a great, big city. It's much bigger than Oslo, and it's bigger than any city I have ever been in. So in Thousand Oaks, you have kind of like the best of both worlds. You can be closest to LA without living there. And you can also like travel 20 minutes to go to the beach in Malibu. And you can also enjoy the perks of living in a little smaller city because it feels more safe and the neighbors are nice, and yeah, it's not that crowded. And also the nature in Thousand Oaks is really good. So if you're a hiking kind of girl or a guy, you should enjoy a lot of great trips and hiking trips. And also my takeaway from studying at CLU and from studying in the US is kind of like it was different than what I thought, in a positive way, because when I came there, the staff and the professors and the counselors, they were so well educated on Norway and Scandinavia. So I kind of felt like they already knew me a little bit before I came. They were like, oh, you do this in Norway, you do that in Norway, you do this in Sweden, or was that Denmark maybe? Yeah, that was Denmark. And I was like, what? You guys know a lot about Scandinavia. And it felt safe. I felt that I was in a good environment for learning and talking about cultural similarities and also differences. And yeah, and I think that's because CLU has had a lot of Scandinavian students before. So it was kind of fun talking for me, I was the foreigner in that country, but they also knew a lot about me and they had a lot of good things to say. And yeah, it felt really great. And also a takeaway from a more educational level was we wanted to do something different that we had done in Norway, because in Norway the study material is just theoretical, and we hadn't done a lot of presentations, or I don't think I've had done any presentations during my 2 bachelor's degrees in Norway, actually. So when we came to the US, we were so happy to find that a lot of the presentations and a lot of the time that we spent in class were a part of a smaller group. I think we were about 20 to 30 students. And a lot of the time that we spend in class, we talk to each other. And a lot of the theoretical material we had on home assignments, weekly home assignments, and we came to class studying what we've learned. And also, of course, having some presentations from the professor, but they also prioritized us working together. And by the way, I took an MBA, Masters of Business Administration, with a specialization in finance. So that was what I did over there, and it was a really good experience. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to talk a little bit about how amazing it was. And I hope that a lot of people wondering if they want to come to the US, that they come to the CLU, because you will not regret it.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for sharing your experience. Really appreciate it, and so proud of you. And really, we're lucky to have you as a representative of Cal Lutheran. They're back doing great and being successful there back in Norway. Thanks for
Thank you
joining us.
so much. Thank
All right.
you.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right. So at this point, I'm going to engage in kind of a virtual campus tour. Really grateful to see a current or a previous student from Cal Lutheran be able to speak with you. So what I'm going to do now is share a little bit about what the university is like, with the hopes that you'll be able to get a glimpse for what university life is like in the US. Certainly, I'm passionate. I love my institution at California Lutheran University. But really, my goal is to help inspire you to study in the US. You have great resources through Education USA, as well as the Norway American Association, NORAM, to be able to kind of figure out what is the right university, the right fit for you. Many universities in the US, most universities have different landmarks on campus, like the statue you just saw, which is called Gumby. It's a gathering point on campus. It's the center of the university. You'll see we have a beautiful park. Every university in the US has a different culture, different climate, different geography. We're in Southern California. You see blue skies like this most of the year. It's a great environment, but you have choices throughout the country of different climates and geographies and cultures. You'll find the culture in Southern California is very diverse, very warm and welcoming. Students from all around the United States, as well as students from all around the world, gathering and taking courses. You'll see a great gathering point on campus for many universities is coffee. The coffee shop, we have the largest Starbucks in our county on campus, as well as a campus dining facility for our students. Also, in the center of campus, having a green space. Many universities have kind of a concrete quad or a gathering point, a central point. For us, it's this park. In the summertime, this becomes a Shakespearean festival of plays that are performed outside in the stage. In the springtime, we have the Scandinavian Festival. The university sits on land that was farmed by a Norwegian immigrant family that donated the land to establish California Lutheran University. So we have a great heritage, particularly in Norway, as well as Sweden and Denmark, as Oda referred to. And so there's a great opportunity to engage with your own culture, but then also sharing that with other people and others who might have ancestors from Norway as well. So shifting gears, I'm going to share a little bit about the academic experience. If you're looking at studying at the undergraduate level, many universities in the United States will accept students from Norway as second-year university students, which means you could actually graduate in 3 years, as we recognize your upper secondary school as being equivalent to high school plus 1 year. And so that's not true of all universities, but it is of Cal Lutheran and many universities that work with Education USA and NORAM. And so you could actually finish your bachelor's degree in 3 years of study at the US. You'll see our classroom buildings. The focus, as our alumni mentioned, is really on individual learning. We have small class sizes. It's not really a lecture kind of culture. It's more discussion, debate, and dialogue, a place where you really collaborate with other students. You have different opportunities to choose majors. If you arrive at the university and want to change your program, you can. So if you arrive and think I want to do business, but then realize, no, I'd like to do international business or sociology, criminal justice. Many of our students from Norway have done global studies in political science and want to engage in nonprofit work or working for NGOs like Doctors Without Borders. So there's a lot of opportunities to engage in different academic programs depending on what your skills or your interests might be. One of the great values of studying in the United States is flexibility and choice. You're not just stuck into one path. You can choose to do multiple majors. You could double major. You could have a major in biology in a building like this beautiful new 3-story science building that we just finished this year. You could called Swenson Science Center, and you could really have a lot of flexibility and choice. And that's different than what you have in other university systems around the world. But going to class is just part of the experience at a university in the United States and at Cal Lutheran. Behind me is our student union building. Being able to bring all of your different interests and identities and passions is a great aspect of studying in US universities. So that means you could join various clubs based on service or advocacy, political advocacy. You might want to join our Pride Club or our Secular Student Alliance, which engages in really meaningful intellectual dialogue about faith, about philosophy and meaning. And then a variety of other religious organizations, whether it's Christian groups, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, as well as non-religious groups as well. Everybody is welcome at our university based on culture, gender identity, expression, your background, your ethnicity, your immigration status, all of those things, you're welcome no matter what. And this is one of the important parts about the student life and the welcoming, inclusive environment at our university. We're focused on global justice and social justice. And we're also focused on leadership. Behind me are the offices for the Associated Students of California Lutheran University. So if you want to grow in your leadership skills, you can join the Senate, run for office in the Senate, be student body president. These are things that are really famous parts of university studies. Opportunities to join clubs, write for the student newspaper, join a sport, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Another key component of life at the university campus in the US is the Career Center. This should be your best friend. This office should be one of the most frequently visited offices you have. If you go to Cal Lutheran or any other university in the United States, the Career Center is a place to be. It's a place to obtain skills beyond what you're learning in the classroom. So skills like how to write a resume, how to interview for a job in a different culture, how to negotiate salary with your boss without getting fired. These are all really important skills. So Career Center is not just about that internship placement in the US, it's about the skills that you need to go for that internship, how to network with different people, how to walk into a room of CFOs or CEOs without being nervous, how to apply the research experience that you've done in the laboratory to put on your resume. These are all things that our Career Center, which is also in the student union, are going to be able to help you with as you go through your time in the United States and at Cal Lutheran. So no matter what campus you end up at, the Career Center is a great place to be and a great place to learn and to grow. Now, we talked a little bit about learning and about getting involved, but also what about living? Part of the kind of experience that you might expect at a US university is living on campus. And this is true for most of our undergraduate students. About 2/3 of our students live on campus, and they live in residence halls like these, Peterson Thompson Hall, which are kind of a style of living that's a little bit more kind of independent living, where students will maybe share a bedroom with one other student, but then they share a suite with their TV, their living room, their couches with other students, maybe 2 or 3 other students. And so you're able to really get a good balance between getting along, learning to live with other people, but then also having some space as well. There's many different residence halls on campus. We have 15 different places you can choose. And living in the US, you'll want to explore what do those options look like. Do you want to have your own apartment? Do you want to have roommates? There's so many different options, but it teaches you lifelong skills. And I've also found students throughout the world have found future business partners, best friends, future colleagues, maybe even future romantic partners through their experiences living in the residence halls. We also want you to have fun and balance. You'll see most of the residence halls on campus have maybe a swimming pool next door or a basketball court, volleyball that you'll see. We want you to stay balanced and stay healthy and stay well. Speaking of that, an important part of university life in the United States is athletics. You'll see that at Cal Lutheran, but I also want you to know that this is a really important part about balance. So behind me is our beautiful William Rowland Stadium. Within that is not just a place to compete in American football, soccer, lacrosse, but we also have a professional art gallery inside of the stadium. This is a place where professional artists, as well as our students, will showcase their art, showcase their talent right next to the competition of American football. So whether you're an athlete or you want to cheer on an athlete, or in the building that's coming up, you want to study exercise science or sports science, sports management. We have a lot of different fields that will actually connect your interest and your activity in sport with art, with also business, and with other science fields as well. Staying balanced is a really important part of US education. It's a really important part of the cultural values that California Lutheran University has. You'll see world-class aquatic facilities, tennis facilities, baseball. In the far field, you'll see the LA Rams, their practice facility, the NFL team. It's a place where students really engage, can cheer on, and also stay fit and stay well. So really the philosophy and the culture of California Lutheran University is one of balance. Another building that we have coming up that you'll see coming onto the screen is our art center. So if you want to study film, television, multimedia, special effects, animation, video game design, this is a building that would be your home for that. We're close to LA, as Oda mentioned, and you're really able to access Hollywood only about 45 minutes away. So again, California Lutheran University and universities in the US are really about finding balance between the academics, athletics, student life, clubs, organizations, living in a residential environment with other students, finding time to get out in nature and go hiking and experience the world. We want you to be able to have a productive college search. We know that it's difficult to be able to figure out what the right fit is of a university. We know that there are alumni through many universities in the United States, including a great alumni network there in Norway of California Lutheran University alumni, and as well as resources through NORAM, through Education USA. Ultimately, it's about the right fit for you. And whether it's myself or other colleagues that work at other universities, our interest is in helping you find your passion, finding your university that's a great home for you. Most of our universities will offer scholarships and financial aid that will provide you opportunities to fund your education in addition to the funding you might get from Lonacosten. And so I encourage you to continue to do your research, to look at great universities like California Lutheran University, as well as our other partners that work with Education USA and the Norway America Association. Thank you so much for joining me on this little campus tour, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about my university as well as an opportunity to learn about studying in the United States. So thank you very much. Good luck.